procedure as well. And so it's really, what we're finding here in New Mexico specifically, and everything that Tara just talked about them preventing the public from knowing what is going on. The more people are educated, an empowered woman is not a woman who's been lied to. An empowered woman is a woman who fully understands through all the information and makes a fully informed choice. And we find that women who are fully informed, as we're out there every day on the streets informing them, that they choose not to have abortion. That's why the clinic staff and all the things try and prevent the women coming from talking to us, because they know if they understood really not only what the nature of the procedure was, but the history of these doctors, they would never willfully submit themselves to something as horrific as abortion is. And so here we have what's going on. I mean, we don't really have any numbers, about Curtis Boyd. He must have, kept things. I mean, there's stuff that came out of Curtis Boyd, and possibly women dying, through the course of his career. But now we start to see really the back alley, and the back alley is the front alley. The back alley is what abortion represents right here in our community, and all the horror of what we're finding taking place through this practice of abortion that everyone just wants to try, and all these governmental agencies want to prevent being inspected, prevent laws being placed onto the books and stuff. That's not to empower women. That's to empower the abortion industry to continue doing what it's doing, and in conjunction with that, keeping people uninformed or disinformed, getting disinformation out there. And so, that's really why we brought survivors here, where I bring Operation Rescue, where I bring this is what we brought here to this city, to really just show the truth and the reality of what abortion is and what it represents in all its ugliness, And so now we have a back alley abortionist, a former back alley abortionist, just continuing to do what people think of back alley abortionists, and that is maiming and butchering women, but it's actually being done, perfectly open and perfectly sanctioned in this city. And so, really what we're seeing here through the legal, course of abortion in this country, 40 years post-Roe. Now we're really, Curtis Boyd now is really getting his due, nature and being exposed for what, not what the back alley represents, but what abortion represents, unimpeded. And so now we're really starting to show, Curtis Boyd in its true light, and it has nothing to do with abortion being illegal. It has everything to do with abortion being unrestricted. And so, that's the nature of what we're dealing here in this city, and with Curtis Boyd and with the term abortion.
Welcome, Cheryl. Why don't you stand up? This is Cheryl Conrad, our Director of Operations. Cheryl, with your arm. With your arm, over that. So, just got a text. So, however, as Director of Operations, you want to handle that? Go for it. It's good to pass the buck. Hey, a little bit ago, and you brought up a very interesting statistic that it boggled my mind. So let me put the question to you this way. How does New Mexico rank in the country concerning abortion access? And how does it rank in the country concerning child well-being? They always link those two. Every child that wants a child, we're going to have happy, healthy kids. Give us more abortion, we have a happier, healthier child community. Talk to us a little bit about that.
What's interesting about this statistic, or this statement, just the reality of this, is that this is what the pro-abortion community prides themselves on, okay? They pride New Mexico. They hail New Mexico, and this was actually published in the Albuquerque Journal. Once another legislative session went by with no restrictive legislation being foisted upon the women of the state of New Mexico, according to their propaganda, according to their lines that they're kind of saying. They pride themselves on another legislative session going by. They have the gauntlet up in New Mexico covered. They have they have the legislative process locked down, you know. They have these committees to where no pro-life legislation can ever get out onto the floor to get in front of a sympathetic governor of the state. And so they champion themselves. You know, they break out the champagne. And this is one of the statistics that they broke out at that time. And this was from a radically pro-abortion group out of DC, and the name is so long, but Sister Song out of DC. You can Google that. You can Google Sister Song, facts about New Mexico. And they say that they rank New Mexico #1 in the country for the most freedom of access of reproductive, sexual services in the entire state, and that is AKA abortion. There's no restrictions whatsoever on abortion in New Mexico, and so, and with the conjunction of tax-funded abortion, one of 15 states in the country that actually provide tax funding of abortion, then when you multiply that with the ability, with no restrictions, no common sense type restrictions, either parental, not even parental consent, not even parental notification, not even women's rights to know, not even, any of these types of just basic common sense types of restrictions on abortion, or just information for women that actually limits abortion, because a woman who's received information, statistically there's women who choose not to have abortion after they see their ultrasound, or if they get information about all the different help and resources in their community. And so the pro-abortion community prides themselves on the fact, or claims the reality that most of us in the pro-life community here in New Mexico may not understand, and that is New Mexico ranks #1 in the country because of the fact that we have no restrictions on abortion, because we have tax funding of abortion, because we have late-term abortion. New Mexico really, from the pro-abortion standpoint, is their, bastion of what they've been able to accomplish in 40 years, why so many states have made so much progress. New Mexico is still the Wild Wild West, quoting Troy Newman from Operation Rescue, when it comes to abortion in this country, and that is because there really is nothing going on here. Now, the interesting fact about that as well, that the Albuquerque Journal just recently published in the past few weeks, is that while New Mexico ranks #1 in the country for abortion, it ranks dead last in the country for child well-being. And so, here we have the women's rights movement, reproductive freedom. We have the utopia in New Mexico as far as that's concerned. And how is it translated? Not only with the injuries that we're seeing documented, which, Tara and I, as we worked with Operation Rescue for a year, and as Operation Rescue is probably the cutting edge source of abortion injuries in this country. What we're seeing here in New Mexico, really pales in comparison to what's going on in different states, and when a lot of these types of injuries are uncovered and exposed, these clinics and these doctors are shut down and put out of business. But here in New Mexico, we can uncover it. We can, now reaching, 14 to 16 abortion injuries, and now we have, the city shutting down the process of getting the 911 calls. We have the medical board shutting down the process of filing complaints. And so they're circling their wagons to just keep the lid on what's taking place here in this state. And how is that translated for the children and well-being, not only of the women, but the children as well? And that statistic here, New Mexico, what has 40 years of abortion produced? Obviously produced just an innumerable loss of life for these children, but when this should be the best progress that could be made in the country as far as well-being for children, we're seeing it just the opposite. So what we're seeing translated here as a microcosm of New Mexico is that abortion doesn't provide anything beneficial, not for a child, the children that are victims of abortion, not for the women involved, not for the doctors involved, not for the communities that are involved, and not the fruit of that. The fruit of that, these children, are being left behind as well. And so, it's kind of a mentality of abortion, that wants to exclude the child, which now has produced a state which kind of leaves the child behind as well. And so it hasn't really produced anything beneficial for our community, for children, or for women. I don't know if Tara wants to add any on that.
No, you said it perfectly.
No. Indeed, it's a shocking statistic. You spend well over $1 million, don't you, supporting the abortion industry here in New Mexico? At least, right? That's probably just the the surface tax dollars. That's shameful indeed. We have another Farmington missionaries. I just a couple more questions. There are other abortion clinics besides Southwestern late-term abortion. Would you tell us just a little bit about that? And we're going to be focusing a lot on late-term abortions, but there's the troubles of abortion are not limited just to the late-term abortion clinics. Isn't that correct?
Right. Well, it's important for us to have a picture of what's happening in the whole state, and primarily the city of Albuquerque. We have 3 of the state's 5 abortion clinics. And one of those clinics, apart from the late-term abortion clinic, Southwestern Women's Options, is the UNM Center for Reproductive Health. So the University of New Mexico, which is the medical school here, the law school here, they have such a deep-seated abortion agenda. They actually run their own abortion clinic. They train their residents, their up-and-coming resident students to do abortion. So they're really trying to, their agenda is so strongly pro-abortion, that they're trying to raise up the next generation of abortionists. And at that particular clinic, we have documented 3 women who were injured during procedures. In fact, one woman was literally dying. She was turning gray as the 911 call was being made. And so it's very concerning to us. Not only do we have late-term abortion here, but we also have the state's, most prestigious educational university providing abortions as well, up to 22 weeks. So they are doing late-term abortions as well. And we also have the local Planned Parenthood too that does abortions up to 19 weeks. We haven't documented any injuries there pertaining to abortion, but there was a woman that went there for a tubal ligation. She went to have her tubes tied, and during that procedure, her bowel was perforated, and now she's suing Planned Parenthood. So a lot of times, we're thankful that we were able to get the 911 calls and document the injuries at the other clinics, but as we'll learn throughout the week, Planned Parenthood has a different way of covering themselves with those types of things. So we're thankful too that over the past couple of years, we've started to see the abortion numbers drop. And the most recent numbers show that we had about a little over 3,000 abortions in 2012. But we have to remember that most of those abortions are being done here because we do have those 3 abortion clinics.
Thank you. Let me just check my notes here real quick. You're involved in a number of projects. If you would just maybe share with us a little bit about what some of those projects are, and in particular, tell us a little bit about the about the petition.
Okay. Yes, we're constantly working on different projects. We're really excited. I probably didn't explain initially, we came here to work with Project Defending Life, but part of what we wanted to do was educate the Christian community and the community at large, and also activate Christians to get involved. So we've been working hard doing church presentations, and we're getting ready to launch a project with a local group of pastors through CSA, and the project is going to be called Project 52. And what we're going to be doing with that is calling on 52 churches to adopt the late-term abortion clinic for 1 week out of every year. It's so important for us to be present at the clinics to make sure that every woman seeking an abortion has an alternative. And so it's really in our laps as the body of Christ to meet those women on their most desperate time. So we're really excited about that. We're in the planning stages of doing a pastor summit and getting out to the community, recruiting these churches to really get involved to help save moms and their babies. We've also been working most recently, which those of you who are local know about the Pro-Life petition that was launched by a group, it's a grassroots effort spearheaded by several different pro-life organizations. And what this petition is going to do in Albuquerque is ban late-term abortion starting at 20 weeks, because babies in the womb do feel pain starting at 20 weeks gestation, scientists have found. And so that has been a huge effort. That has been a very encouraging effort, because we have seen at least 27,000 people in this city educated about late-term abortion. We collected 27,000 signatures from mostly the Christian community here in Albuquerque to make sure that we do see the 20-week fetal pain ban put on the Albuquerque city election, either October 8th or during a special election. But that has been the biggest project, and that has been amazing because we've been able to reach out to so many churches, and people, even in the church, are shocked when they learn that we do have a late-term abortion clinic here, and we do have all of these injuries. We do have women coming forward after their abortion saying that they wish they would have had another way out. So those are the main things that we've been working on, and we're constantly trying to come up with new and innovative ways to educate the public and Christians, and it's another one of the reasons why we invited survivors to come here this week.
Well, that's exciting about the 27,000 signatures. You needed what, 12,000? I remember getting an early email and you were, praying hard, hoping you were going to be able to hit that number. 27. That's an excellent return.
Provider, yeah.
I'm just going to close with this. You invited survivors here. We started talking about it a year, maybe a year and a half ago even, started to discuss it. Things have changed. The Gosnell trial, the nationwide exposure of late-term abortions, those kinds of things. What is your goal for the city and for this weekend and for the week to come?
Well, our goal for this city and for this state is to see it become abortion-free. Ultimately, we care so much about the women that seek abortions, and we care about their babies as well. So that's our goal, and that's what we're working towards in all the different facets. And, really just, we're so encouraged that our generation, the generation of young people that are here for this week, we are the majority, and our generation is overwhelmingly pro-life. And so we wanted you guys to come here and train our local young people, and we also have people that have come in from all over the country to be trained to be an effective voice for life. And so this week, we can't wait to see how, like Christina said, the city is going to be stirred up again. I think we've had a lot of stirring going on with the petition, but I hope that we can just capitalize on that momentum and go out into the community as an effective, as a peaceful witness for life, and just want to see people's hearts change, their minds change, and their worldviews change when it comes to abortion. So thank you guys for coming, and we know God has great plans in store.
Survivors of the abortion holocaust is a pro-life youth movement. What we do is we recruit, train, equip, and send out young people to fight for life, to be a voice in their community. Bud and Tara, like you heard, was a part of our camp. They invited us